So this morning I did my analysis. Usually when I do my analysis I start with marking the ranges. That's exactly what I did today. And then I started to look for levels. So what I usually do, I'll show you guys, is I will look at what did the market do, what did the move do, what range are we in, and I was like, okay, so we're in between like this point right here, this yellow line, and the bottom right here. I started with marking my levels. This was my ladder point, and then I had my point of interest, like my point the market would bounce on, and then I had my like backside level that was expected to bounce the move again. You see this green line right here. You have for me this that you reverse this on a lower time frame is kind of an indication of, okay, this move wants to bounce here, or there is a possibility this is gonna bounce here. So I saw this and I was like, okay, this can hold again. All good. My bias was long. Why was my bias long? Usually when I trade, I always look at what break levels do we hit, and I most of the times use the 1 hour to decide which like direction I'm gonna trade in. And in this case we only had one valley of hourly candles. In this case it's a valley. So if you would have hit this blue stipple line, or this blue line for example, we would if you would hit this, my bias personally is to look for shorts. So look inside of this move right here, if you can have any levels to, or if you have any levels to bounce to go short. So my bias was long at this point until we would have hit this. I wanted to go long, and I was looking at these levels and I was like, okay, in this range what can we test? So I was, okay, we can test this, but the move continues the ladder like up here. So you have the move continuing the ladder from this point to this point to this point, and I was like, okay, this can bounce again. So you want to keep this ladder in mind, and you want to like continue this ladder, and you want to see which levels are gonna have a reaction. So kind of higher lows, higher highs, etc. So in this case you want to find your higher highs basically, if you want to give it a name that everyone understands. So I want to look for my higher lows, and I was like, okay, this one's tested, this one is tested, blah blah. Okay, this one can hold again, that's interesting. So I marked this level, but somehow I convinced myself that I could hold this range right here and I would stay below this, to stay below this level. So we are trying to start a ladder. And another thing I did, I marked my trend. So I marked it like this and I adapted it out to here. And that's not necessarily wrong, because we got filled on a short a little bit higher in this range, and I was following the break of this move and the break of this trend until it broke like completely. So my cap I could trade to was literally this point right here, and I could have taken a long there, and I didn't. I tried to convince myself, or like I convinced myself of data that wasn't there, and my data literally was telling me go long, trade long, trade long, trade long. Like I shouldn't have been in a short here anyway, and if I did, I would have, like, I should have been out on this point. And as you guys can see, we reached that point and I should have gotten in long, and I didn't. Can, for example, hold this level, and then we can adapt trend to this point and we will still move up. Completely my fault. I was convincing myself of shorts. Well, I had no reason of being short in this position. My bias told me I was long. Like, my expectation is that we all reach this point, all the way to this point. So this whole move was literally in front of my eyes and I didn't see it. I didn't act on it. Like, I was like, nah bro, we're gonna go short, we're not gonna have this big move. Usually you would think like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a big move and blah blah, but now I didn't. I just convinced myself that I was gonna go short, and I convinced myself of data that was not there. I should have been out right at this point, and I should have been long. What did I do? I took another short right here. I just don't want to believe we move up right here, and I took another short. I was like, nah, okay, this should be the test, and then like we're gonna test this level right here, move up a little bit, test something in the range back there, even though I knew the range was broken already, and then we're gonna still move short from this point, and then we're gonna move. My bias was screaming long at this point, and I started the right way. I started to look for longs, and then I kind of decided to move to trade short. So we're down $731 for the day, so that's a little unfortunate, but we're still like 5k, almost 6k up for the week. Yeah, I just shouldn't have traded this way. So it's completely my own fault. I know what to change. This is literally what kept me unprofitable, what kept me broke, is convincing myself there is some data that is telling me I have to go short. Well, everything is screaming long, and I still decide to follow my intuition instead of the data. I just want to show you guys something. In this moment of time, the market is actually holding one of my levels. I wanted to take this level right here, and as you guys can see, it's a perfect hit. I could have been break even right here. Like, my entry was somewhere right here, like a few ticks below my level, and my stop loss was somewhere over here, so would be break even right now, or even in profits right here. And there goes your move. So it's just so stupid. It is what it is. It's market open, by the way. See, so we hit this by at market open, and now we're moving short, and for the rest of the day short probably, or at least trying to go for this move right here. So I feel a little bit stupid. I could have had such an amazing entry for market open. Could have traded towards market open, and I didn't do both. So just learn from this, bro. So let's learn from this, and I'll see you guys Monday. Peace.